All right, here's a little Babyation chit chat for you. I just want to start by saying that my intention with anything I ever do is never to run anything through the mud. If there's something I don't like about it, I'm honest about it. It's not from like a malicious point of view ever. So this pump was gifted to me. I went into it with an open mind. I really truly did hope for the best. But after opening the box and started like going through it and then trying it, I was like, oh man, this is hard. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I wish I didn't accept it because I don't want to give a poor review. But I did accept it and I did promise everyone a review. So that is what I'm doing here. So I'm just gonna break down what it is that you get upon your purchase. And if you buy it, I wish you well. I hope it works for you. I hope you have better luck than I did. And they have an excellent customer service. They'll troubleshoot every step of the way they can for you, but ultimately it's on your body to respond well and you to like it, right? So the help will be there if you need it, and just hopefully they go together and you have success from your purchase on out. So what is the Babyation? It is an all-in-one pump. This pump is literally it. Like it's a complete pump, all in one. Put it in your tote and go. So when you open it up, you've got 4 5-ounce collection bottles. Those go within the pump. There is a little ice pack here. And then these little divots on the sides here are where your flanges set. And then they just sit there for, you know, in between sessions. That's just where they are stored. And then in this bag here, which comes up, it's magnetic, you keep your tubes in there. The tubing is supposed to be good for 24 hours within this pump. I do want to say though, after, you know, just reading more through the manual and stuff, this is the pump. It is not an insulated container. Maybe it's insulated to a degree since it has an ice pack, but the ice pack needs to be changed every 2 hours or when it's just no longer cold. So maybe that's sooner than 2 hours. I don't know. Maybe you get 2.5 hours. I don't know. Honest to God, I never took it out because I could never use this on the go. So I never got to take it to that level of mobility. It was always used in my house. And then after reading the manual, change every 2 hours, I just kind of let that be. All right, so you've got the 4 5-ounce containers that your milk will flow into, which I'll get into that in a second, your ice pack, and then this is where your flanges go. So these are the flanges. There's 3 different sizes. They're not set by millimeter necessarily. They're small, medium, large, so wherever you fall within there is the range. Within that range is the size flanges you'll need. I measure 21 millimeter before pumping, 24 millimeter after, on the other side before pumping. And I found that the mediums didn't fit me so well when I tried, but I got milk with the mediums, but they didn't fit well, but I did get milk. When I jumped to the large flanges, I couldn't get milk, but they felt more comfortable. So it kind of like flip-flopped, it reversed. It was strange, but that's just what happened when I used them. So they sit in here, and then of course you have your tubing. The tubing needs to be replaced every 24 hours. So I don't care if you use your pump once, twice, or 3 times a day. After 24 hours, it has to be discarded. If you go 6 hours between sessions, you have to replace your tubing. So there's 2 different rules here with the tubing, every 24 hours or after 6 hours if not used. And then this, when it's all, you know, all out and you've been using it, roll it back up, and that's where you're supposed to put it in here. And then that is just magnetized right back to the lid, and then on you go. I'm not gonna lie, it pains me every time I open a set of tube, but I'm gonna have to pump with this thing afterwards to justify it. But this is the tubing and how it works. Because some people have said, well, why don't you just buy other tubing? It's very proprietary, very. So what you're looking at here is 2 different ports. The larger ends, this one goes onto the bottles and onto the port, which I kind of skipped over. These ports are the suction ports. They twist. So you can either do a single pump or a double pump, depending on whether they're on or they're off. And then and I'll do this, these guys, the tubing sits on the port and into the bottle. So why these are special, because it's 2 tubes. So you've got a suction side and a liquid side. And The suction side will come from the port. It sucks up to here, which will go into the flange. I'll do in a second. It sucks the external print, like outside of the flange, so it collapses. The milk gets sucked in and drops into the milk side of the tube and then down the milk tube and into the bottle. So let me show you exactly what I'm saying here. So I'm going to do my best here. I'll scoot this up maybe to make it a little easier. And now the port, the front half, let's see here. This front half will go on the port. So it sits right on there. And then this side goes into the bottom of the flange, and you have to press it nice and tight so it goes all the way in. And if you don't press it tight, it will collapse into this plastic part. So that's something I would advise. Just kind of like hold it and then press it together. And then, let's see if I can do this the right way. I just turned this port off, so let's see if this works. Yep, there we go. So I have it on the lowest section on stimulation mode, and you can see how it compresses the nipple. So this is supposed to be a different kind of technology where it compresses the nipple opposed to tugging the nipple. If I pull this off, it's dead, right? It didn't do anything. But once I put this back on, it makes that seal. And that is why these outside shells are so important, because I keep knocking it off, because it creates the suction. It creates a airtight barrier, and then it collapses on the nipple. All right, so now I think we have a pretty good understanding of how this works, right? So we've got the port side that creates the suction. You can see this drops into the bottle because the bottlenecks look like this, okay? So that sets into the hole or the cap of the bottle. And so you've got suction side comes up, and then it creates the suction between the flange and this hard plastic piece, that's the airtight barrier. The milk comes through the flange, right out of your nipple and into the bottom of the other tube, and then it goes down and drops into the cup. So these tubes do not mix. They just ride parallel all the way to and from your boob to the bottle. So now that's all fine and well, but now how is it actually used? How does it go in your bra? And this truly is the part that is the most disturbing / upsetting to me. I can't get on board with it. I've said it once before, I'll say it again. I don't think a woman developed this concept. It's not favorable to our breast tissue, and I don't like it. So this is it. It's sitting. This is an extra large breast pad. It's indented. And when I had heard about these indented, breast pads, I thought, okay, it must house the entire flange. It doesn't. So you can see there's quite a void there. And this is what caught me off guard. I was like, did I get a bad set? I'm confused. Where's the rest of this pad? I was really hoping that this flange was housed within the remainder of what is in here would be the breast pad. So it like really sat in there, because then I could probably get more on board with it, to be perfectly honest, because then you would have this completely flush with the breast. Yeah, it adds more to your boob, but so does all these other, I'm not gonna say competitors' names, cups and pumps on the market, right? So what if it gives you an extra 1.5 inches of boob? Who cares? So we don't have that with this, because now we're sitting in here, we pull up our, let's say my hand is the cup of my bra, put my cup of my bra over, and now I have to latch it, right? I'm latching, and see how I just gave myself, I'm calling that a thumbprint cookie. I just gave myself like the craziest indentation. Oh, and it's going cockeyed, which happened to me too, like where it was like, you know, like it was all funky doodle. All right, one thing that I didn't get into that I think is also important, and I'm not gonna get like into a huge tutorial on this, but I just wanna give you a quick rundown. You can see it moving right now, right? Okay, so I'm on stimulation mode, suction 1, speed 1. It's a toggle and a button. So I'm gonna toggle between the 3 options. And right now I'm gonna go back to suction. I'm gonna press it in, and I'm gonna crank this up to suction 4 so you can see it, okay? And then I'm gonna press it in again and go to speed. When it's pink, I'm gonna push it in, and now I can go, now it's white, I'm gonna turn it up. I'm gonna go 4 and 4. So I am on stimulation, suction, speed, both 4. You can see what's going on there. Now I'm push it in, and I'm gonna go down to stimulation. I'm gonna press it in, and now I've just gone to expression. So once that letdown starts up, now I can start expressing milk. I'm on level 1, speed 1. I'm gonna toggle up to suction. I'm gonna crank it all the way. I just wanna give you, you know, an idea of what it can do. All the way up, suction 8. And this is suction 8, speed 1. I'm gonna press it in, toggle over to speed, press it in, and crank it to 8. So I'm at 8 and 8. I'm not totally sold. Like, I don't know how well this is gonna, you know, how much it's gonna help you really understand what's going on here, but just know that that's how this works, okay? So I've got an expression mode, a stimulation mode, and I have got suction on expression. I've got 1 to 8, speeds 1 to 8, and then if I go down back to, oopsies, if I go down to stimulation, I've got 4 levels of stimulation and 4 levels of speed. So that is how you can toggle back and forth. You could also do this on your phone. It does connect to the phone. But that just quickly is how you use it. Not saying this is how you use it for you, but just to have you an understanding of how the machine is to be used in general. So that is it. It is a toggle and a push button. And then I can pause it and I can turn it off. I really don't know what more to say about this. I mean, this is supposed to be like a one and done little chit chat, which is kind of turning into a seminar. So just in short, I mean, this is what you're looking at. You've got a breast pad. Oh, I know what I want to talk about. Okay, so you've got a breast pad, and then you've got your flange and your breast, and you know, that's it. It was explained to me that the pressure makes the suction. I'm gonna tell you right now, if this thing's doing a good job sucking, the suction is good, which it is. It's not a bad suction. You don't need this pressure, okay? So if anyone's watching and they wanna just, you know, hear me out, I don't need the additional pressure. I don't want that pressure on my milk ducts. I don't want to cause myself a clogged duct. I don't wanna restrict milk flow, which truly is exactly what we're doing here, okay? If you want to take my advice, if anyone's interested, which, you know what, one of you really handy ladies out there can do this, I'm sure. Build up this breast pad, make it so it matches your breast tissue, slap it in, give yourself an additional like inch on the boob, and then use it. And I bet you'll have better luck. This right here is one of the few deal breakers that goes hand in hand with this pump. Okay, that's gonna be my free advice for the day. I do want to add though, because I've talked to a couple moms who said they really do like it, and genuinely I want to know why. And they say, I nurse my baby. So when I'm sitting there topless, I stick this on my breast. I nurse my baby on this breast, and this stays put, which it does. It's not a bad suction. And it expresses milk and collects it for me. They say it's so easy. I don't have the baby kicking anything off. Like, it's pretty safe, which I think is excellent. That's cool. Unfortunately, that is not at all how this is to be used, like advertised wise, right? So if you are telling me I'm a nursing mother, you're home, you're sitting on the couch, you don't want to lose milk, and you want to collect it the safest way possible, and you want to spend $500 doing it, this is great. This will do it. But this is advertised to be out and about on the go, a working mom, which that's a whole nother thing, because what if I'm working somewhere that doesn't have a freezer? Like, how am I going to change this out every 2 hours? There's just a few different things going on here that I feel weren't very well thought out. All right, I think that's enough. I don't really know what else more I could say about this. Where do you put these? Where do I put these when I'm not using them? In my bra? In here? I mean, let's see if that even works. No. I'm done. Chit-chat's over. I do hope you found it helpful. I apologize if it wasn't the nicest review, which it's not. It's not. I'll be completely honest. It's not the nicest review. But, I mean no disrespect. It's just, it needs some help. And if you want my help, I'm here to help. Whatever.